Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here sitting in the Rob's MetalWorks studio having one hell of a great time with one of the heaviest bands here in the Alamo City. Brings me great pleasure to welcome Blightfeeder to the big program. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Excellent. How we doing?
Great, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're easing into it, man. Yeah, I'm breaking you guys out of your shell a little bit. Yeah, except Evan. No, Evan's getting there. Evan's getting there. Thank you guys so much for coming over because Blightfeeder is a band I've been jamming to for quite some time. And it's been in my mind since 2022, the last time I spoke with Juan. And there's a lot of people out there who know about the band. So I felt, it's about time to get these guys on the program because so many things seem to be happening for you guys in the metal scene here in SA and beyond. And, I know Juan. I interviewed him back in 2022. I love Juan. I said this before. I think Juan is the best growler in our city. The best. Like Juan's number one. Everybody else falls after Juan. And I really, really feel that for you, bro.
Thank you, Rob.
I wouldn't say that if I didn't really, really feel it as a fan.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's true. However, I can't say the same for your bandmates. So I want to just start off because I think there's people out there maybe who may not know the backgrounds of everyone else, Ethan and Evan and Gabe in the band. So let's give these cats an opportunity to share a little bit briefly about your experience in the SA scene prior or at the same time as being in Blightfeeder. So let's start with this man over here. I know, Ethan, you've been on the show before with Athanatos as their drummer. So elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us back. I started in the scene about 15, 14 years ago. Kind of bounced around from different local projects and stuff like that, and then ended up with Athanatos with Juan and our other friends, and it's been a hell of a ride. And we had some time, so Evan hit us up and was ready to start a live band.
Dude, I told you this. I remember when I interviewed you with Athanatos. I said, dude, you're fucking sick, bro. Like, can you really pull that shit off that you do on the record?
Fuck yes.
Yeah. That's fucking sick, bro. And,
Stirring the cauldron.
Yeah.
Stirring the cauldron.
I don't know.
Come out to a show, please.
I don't know. I've seen it. And so I'm just doing that. I'm asking you for the fans.
For sure.
But I've seen it and I know you can pull it off. And that's just sick, bro. You're a sick dude. I really like you, man. You're a really cool dude.
Thank you, brother.
So
Likewise.
great to have you back. And now this man right here, I don't know much about. So Gabe, share a little bit.
Shit. I mean, what do you want to know? I came into the San Antonio scene with Evan. Halogen in 2015.
Y'all were in a band called Halogen?
Yeah, we were in Halogen
okay.
together. So I moved here from Corpus around that time, like 2014, December of 2014. And then actually a friend of mine, you're going to interview them here pretty soon, Memories in Broken Glass.
Yeah.
They're really good friends of mine before.
Old school too.
Yeah.
Great to see those guys back, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Their guitar player at the time, Justin, I guess he saw the Orion playthrough for Halogen, and he was like, "This is right up your alley." Hit him up, whatever, and I did. I hit him up, and we were in Halogen together for a couple years, and then as soon as I saw this project kind of coming to fruition with Exordium being released, I it's such a weird, like, I just sent him a message. I was like, "Hey man, if you're gonna be making a band, I'll play bass." Yeah. And then I think the very next message I got was like the files for like, "Hey, these are the songs." You know what I mean? I love working with Evan. I feel like there's a lot of times where like he'll send files or certain song clips, and it's just like, motherfucker, that's what I hear in my head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those like kismet, you know what I mean? Where it's like I feel like I have to like work with this dude, like, you know what I mean? This is I love working with him. He's a great songwriter, a great dude to work with, and yeah. So.
That's so cool because I hear that from time to time, and I think that's so important when you have dudes in a band who musically or intellectually connect on a level, and then they're like, yeah, we have a connection, and it's a good chemistry, and we better fucking utilize it and make the most of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's great, man. Did you move to San Antonio because of the music scene or something else? Don't tell me it was for a chick.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Cynthia, we hate you. No, Cynthia, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically, I mean, just.
So I'm right. You did
Yeah,
it.
you're right. Right on the money, bro.
I fucking knew it.
Right on the money. Yeah, I was, break it out and like, bro, so dramatic. Like, I pulled up to like the house I was supposed to. I had everything in my car, and I just like smoking a cigarette outside, and like it starts raining, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm moving to San Antonio. And, like my parents were living here, so I was like, hey, can you house me for a little bit? And I just knocked it in reverse, drove to San Antonio, and
they're like, ay, mijo, ¿qué estás haciendo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was like, hey, can you hold me for a little bit? And then like literally like think that like same month, like how I said, everything kind of just started, falling into place, and I was like, yeah, man, like I mean, it just kind of all started happening. So I'm glad to be here for sure.
Life's a crazy journey, bro, and I've always kind of felt in my personal life that everything happens for a reason, right? When you don't get the job, I tell myself, make myself feel better, like it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really feel like that, and now, look at you now. You're in a cool band. All right, Evan, tell me a little bit about your crazy history.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for having us on, Rob. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, man. My pleasure.
Yeah, so I moved here from New Orleans when I was like 11 or 12, and I was kind of jamming. I've been playing guitar for a few years. I was kind of jamming with my cousin, and we ended up making a band in high school. We were called The British Are Coming.
Oh, wow.
And we had a few gigs at like the White Rabbit and shit back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So through that band, I met our drummer, Eddie, who like after that band like disbanded, we moved on with him to do Halogen, and that's when we found Gabe and Giancarlo from Left 4 Dead. I think.
Yeah.
He was in Halogen with us. So that was like when we really kind of got into the scene more, was like 2015 or so. We dropped that single Orion, and at that point it was just me and Eddie, the drummer. And then after we dropped that, we found Gabe and Giancarlo and was it Chris, our bass player? Yeah.
As the guitar player and obviously a music writer, was the Halogen stuff wasn't as heavy as Blightfeeder, was it?
A little more progressive.
Yeah.
It was pretty. Yeah, it was still pretty fucking heavy, but like not to this extreme.
Not to this extreme.
Yeah,
right?
but I've always been into like really extreme music. Like since I was like 13, I started listening to like Behemoth, Burzum, fucking Morbid Angel, all that old school death metal.
Wow,
Wind Deer.
Death.
Wow, yeah.
Well, I don't know about Tear, but yeah. So I don't know. This project was me kind of going back to my roots a little when I first got into like extreme music, and just adding a little more of like my more recent influences into it.
I would think that becomes a little bit more seamless as you become a better guitar player, and are able to implement a lot of different things that you like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think so.
The reason I'm digging into you a little bit because you are the guitar player, and you're the songwriter and stuff. So, I think as guitarists get better and they dig on new stuff. They try to implement some of that stuff into their brutality, and it kind of seems like that's what you've done.
Yeah,
so that's great,
absolutely.
man. That's great. I'm glad, and I remember seeing you live, and I'll talk a little bit more about this at the end of 2023. And I thought you were a great guitar player, man. I think you're a great guitar player.
Thank you, man.
You're a shredder, bro. So, all right. So let's move on. Now, Juan, I interviewed you back in June of 2022. Does it seem like that long ago?
Yeah.
That does seem like a long
It was
time.
around that time.
You're
yeah.
like, Rob, a lot of shit has happened since then.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of crazy stuff. A lot of ups and downs.
I remember when we interviewed, it's kind of like an interview about, your history in San Antonio. And I kind of felt I owed you that interview because, like I said, I'm a fan of yours and I think you're the best. And I wanted to get it on tape for the history of our program and for the future musicians in our scene to always be able to look upon, because, your music, your recordings will live on forever. But I remember when we interviewed, Blightfeeder was kind of like a little... I remember you kind of mentioned it at the interview, like, because we interviewed, and Athenados was like your main thing, but you were like, yeah, I'm doing this little thing called Blightfeeder, and we've done a couple of songs, and Rob, I'll send you some songs, and you sent me some roughs. But at that time, Blightfeeder was not a real... Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. It was not like a real legit band, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So how did you go from that into where we are today?
So what happened was, at the time of us becoming a live performing band, things were kind of slowing down for my primary band, Athanatos. We're still active, we're still writing,
right.
We're still doing stuff, but some changes were happening in our personal lives and kind of setting us back a little bit, like all bands,
Yeah.
And so at the time, I was kind of hungry for a more aggressive sound, a more just terrorizing type sounding band, just something heavy, just grotesque. And, I was learning a lot of new vocal techniques and stuff, and I was just hungry to put them on to, some heavy music. So, me and Evan had already been working together, and it was supposed to just be strictly an online project between the both of us.
Right. Kind of like Shadow Keep, or what are they called? Shadow Intent?
Oh, Shadow Intent,
kind of like
yeah.
that. I remember when those dudes were just like an online band.
Oh, yeah.
And then they kind of became like a real band.
Oh, look at them now.
Yeah, kind of same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, Evan and I had released our first single, Exordium, which is the first track on our EP, The Form of Suffering. We released that, and it got some good traction.
Yeah.
A lot of good reviews. And so...
I love the guitar squeak, bro. I love that guitar squeak in that song.
Yeah, he's a freak with it, man.
Oh, I love it.
He gets
I
down.
love it.
Yeah, he's nasty with it.
Yeah, you do it well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And so, we released Exordium, and we hadn't really been talking about, taking it to the stage. And all within that time, I was in the back of my mind thinking I want to start a new band, just something to keep me occupied, get out there a little bit more, see what can happen with it. And I can't remember exactly if I had posted on Facebook about starting a new band or if I had just messaged Evan, saying, hey, are you interested in, potentially taking this to the next level? And it just so happened when I had messaged him, he just responded. He was like, hey, well, Gabe is interested in playing, and we have another guy named Jeff Dunn who offered to play as well. So it just kind of like came together, just like that, And so we didn't necessarily have a drummer at the time, and the only person we could think of that could play this material
Right.
is this man right here, Ethan.
Of course. So, just so quickly like that, it came together. So did you and Evan already have, aside from Exordium, did you have other tracks?
Yes.
Yeah,
we had
or roughs or whatever.
Yeah, we had a few roughs. We had maybe 2 songs complete by that time.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know exactly how we would release them, like an EP or just singles.
Yeah.
So being the next move that we were going to be a full band, we just decided why not release it as an EP, come out swinging with, a heavy-ass EP like that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about The Form of Suffering here in a little bit. I remember, too, when I first heard that Blightfeeder was going to be a real band, and I remember you announced your first show at the end of 2023 at Fitzgerald's. I'm like, I got to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a Juan Garcia fan. I got to be there to check this shit out. And you had already sent me some roughs. and they had different names. I think Exordium had a different name.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, something
Slaughterville.
like that. Yeah. And I remember I had to message you, right? Like, is this song? And then you got me on the right track. 'Cause like I told you, I'm so meticulous about my fucking music. I need to get everything right. So, yeah, I remember when I went to the show, I thought it was great. I think the first show you pulled off was great. And at that time, Jeff was still part of the band.
Correct.
Jeff Dunn, but now he's out.
Yes.
So you guys said we can still do it with a 4-piece.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we decided to move forward as a 4-piece.
Yeah.
And kind of keep it more concise on the stage.
For sure. And on the back end, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We have what's the one less dude we got to feed and one less dude we got to fucking manage our schedule with, right?
Yeah.
And if Evan can pull it off, well, then fucking A. We're all good.
He's a monster, man.
Oh, God, yeah.
I call him a freak sometimes.
You know, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, and I think next, because I also love to, you know, a lot of the sonic landscape I hear in your music, you know. And, you know, when I think about, like, old school death metal bands, like whatever, Death or whatever you're talking about, you know, those bands, you know, they didn't have the technology that we have today. So they weren't able to add in a lot of the synths or the backing tracks and stuff that enhances the listening experience. And you guys have managed to do that also very well. But at the same time, I want to say, too, at such a subtle level that it doesn't become overbearing.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's so subtle that it enhances the listening experience without becoming like, oh, you know, these dudes are fake. You know, it's really still brutal. It's really still heavy. So is the genre, correct me if I'm wrong, is it deathcore?
Yeah.
Is that the official?
Deathcore, yes.
Deathcore. Now,
Like for us,
Yeah.
go for it. I'd probably say like slamming technical deathcore, I guess, if you wanted to say like if you wanted to split hairs.
Fusion, blackened, jazz. I don't know. Something simple.
Yeah.
there's so many you know, subgenres, right?
Yeah.
Genres. So I always have to ask, you know, because you know people just, we live in that day and age, right? People want to compartmentalize everything, right? Yeah.
It's metal.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, my mom was like, "You're still listening to metal?" And I'm like, "Mom, there's so many kinds of metal. You don't even know."
Yeah.
Okay. Was that always the vision, or did it kind of evolve into that?
I would say it was always the vision, right? It's kind of definitely evolved after the EP with our newest single, Where the Lost Ones Weep.
Yeah.
And even with the newer music, we got newer songs in the works too.
Yeah.
And so, but still, it's very subtle.
We'll get
but
there.
Still chaotic.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the new stuff.
So you knew Ethan can pull it off. Evan's riding with you. Gabe, were you like, I don't know if I can pull this shit off? I mean, were you doing deathcore before?
No, I mean, I played guitar in Halogen with him,
Yeah.
so like that was like a lot more progressive, genty,
Right,
technical
right,
stuff. So
right.
I offered to play bass initially just because I assumed that there was already a guitar player in the works. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'll just play bass, and there was some.
Could you pull it off though? I mean,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I was like looking at it, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I can do this. Yeah, it's not there was no point ever that I was like listening to it where I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm stumped. It was right up my alley for sure.
Cool. Yeah, man. I mean, what you guys do is not easy, and you know, I'm sure that maybe half of the musicians I interview on my show probably couldn't play that stuff. So I applaud you. I mean, it takes a dedication and a you know, a consistency and a strength to kind of do that for a whole set too.
Thank you. Yeah,
Juan, I don't know how you fucking sing like that for a whole set. But yeah, man, that's great that you guys can do it, and I think you guys are the best at it in our region.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why you're here, man, because I'm a fan, and I love it all. You know, I love it all. I do everything. I support everything, and I listen to everything. But you know, if you're talking deathcore or heavy stuff like that, I'm like, oh, come on, man. You know, there's certain bands who can pull it off. And that's the thing, like the bands that kind of can't pull it off, but they're trying to pull it off. I'm like, They're like, well, we want to be on Rob's. I'm like, no, you're not ready. Yeah, that's what I say. I don't ever like bash them. I just say, you're not ready, bro. Keep working. I'm all positive. Like, keep working.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so the Form of Suffering came out July 30th last summer, right?
Correct.
But Exordium came out like in the year before. Correct. And
Yes.
Exordium made it to the EP.
Yes.
Yeah. So when Exordium came out, I think, Juan, you kind of alluded to the fact that it got some good reception. People were digging on it.
Yeah. So, like I said, at first, Evan and I just released it, kind of seeing.
So it was still a project at that time.
Yeah, it was still a project.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
between him and me.
Yeah.
And
So who did you manufacture the drums and the bass and all that at that time?
that was all Evan's programming and production.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you guys know Brian Neckerman. Brian Neckerman does that too for all his solo stuff.
Yeah.
But I know that, if you're savvy enough, technically you can pull that off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you feel about Exordium kind of when you were done with it, producing it, engineering it, and you're like, okay, let's put it out, Juan. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was super happy with the way it came out.
Yeah.
That was the first song I wrote for this project. So obviously I liked it, but like I was already writing more material and I was like way more stoked on that stuff. I mean, I feel like that's how it usually goes as an artist. Like you're always the most excited about like your newest stuff. But I was like, yeah, let's put the shit out. Like I just wanted to get it out and see how people responded to it.
Let's get this ball rolling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Should I assume that you did the production and the engineering for these tracks?
Yeah, I did. So Exordium, I did everything except mastering.
Yeah.
And then on the EP, I did everything, including the mastering.
Nice. Yeah. So you're like, the back end mastermind. I like to hear that. Yeah. I always call these people masterminds. Exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm a nerd, dude.
Exactly.
I'll say it.
No, it's super awesome.
That's cool. And then after Exordium came out, was the second single Fallen Flesh
It was
or Cabal?
It was
Fallen Flesh.
Yeah.
Fallen Flesh, and then Cabal. So,
Well, we had filmed Cabal before, but we
So,
released Fallen Flesh
these
first.
singles, and I'll get into marketing strategy here in a little bit, but these singles were all kind of released as a little bit to build the momentum for the band, and then The Form of Suffering came out with all these singles on it. Yeah, I mean, that's great. And for all you people out there, this is the CD we're talking about. It is called The Form of Suffering. It came out July 2024. 5 songs. Be sure to go look for it right after you finish this interview. Download it and jam it, because there's no better deathcore in our region than Blightfeeder. So be sure to get this in your hand. And as you can see, I have a hard copy. So if hard copies are your thing, hook up with the band on their socials, and I'm sure they can get you one. But I've been jamming to this EP for a while now. I love it. Fallen Flesh has done really well for you, right?
Yeah.
50,000 views on Spotify or something like that, listens?
Yeah.
Or?
It's like 70.
Wow, I'm behind.
75,000. Yeah.
Wow. So people are listening to it. I'll tell you right now, my favorite song is The Form of Suffering. That's my favorite song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I like
my
that.
favorite jam. And you know why I like that jam so much?
It's that deep
I think
cut.
It was that intro. I love the intro.
Okay.
I think the intro's so cool. Yeah. And then, I kind of like ease me into the brutality, baby. Ease me into it,
Yeah.
And then, fuck, this is cool artwork too, bro. From Russia.
Yes.
From Russia, right?
Armada Arts, yeah.
It is so cool. So was that always kind of like the marketing strategy? Because there's so many strategies that bands kind of try to implement nowadays. Like, oh, we're just going to release singles and that's it. Or we're just going to put out a full length. Or we're just going to put out an EP. Or we're going to put out singles and then compile them into the EP release, which I think is a great strategy. That's my favorite strategy.
Yeah.
Because, people always want a compilation. They want it all together. And then you can say, have a piece of work. This is our piece of work right here with all our shit in it. Yeah. Was that always the plan, or did it?
Yeah, it evolved over time for sure. I think when we released Exordium, it was kind of still up in the air a little. By the time we had released Fallen Flesh, we pretty much had it planned out. So yeah, we released 3 singles, and then the 4th single we released was with the EP. So
Yeah.
we got 2 fresh songs when we dropped the EP, which I thought was, a good mix, so you don't get every single song before it comes out,
Right.
So.
Right. Cool. That's great. And, I always like, oh, yeah, I'll go buy this fucking song for $1. I'll get it. It seems to me, too, from what I've seen, that the reception for the record has been overwhelmingly positive. Yeah. And you guys have gotten a lot of press from it, which is good. I mean, because it's positive, you're getting a lot of press from it, and people are writing about it and talking about it, right?
Yeah, we're all super happy with the response we got, especially with Fallen Flesh, like you mentioned earlier. That was awesome. Yeah. And that was my favorite song. I think that was the last one I wrote for the EP, Fallen Flesh.
Fallen Flesh?
And it was the second single, but it was the last one I wrote. And I was just like, that song just came out really fast, and it just flowed really well. Mm-hmm. And I just had a good feeling about it. And yeah, it ended up doing really well. And the video was sick. We got Brandon to do our video, Bad Mantra, and he killed it. So
yeah, was the recording process long and challenging, or was it quick?
That one was pretty quick. I mean, it's a short song. Yeah. So yeah, it came out pretty fast. I did a few revisions on it, I remember, but overall, yeah, that one felt like the most like organic. Sure. Just came out easily compared to the others.
And when you guys are like putting these tracks together, you have the song, the meat and bones of the song. But when you get these other dudes involved, is everybody like in a room and you all jam it together, or?
Not really, no.
Not really, separately?
Usually I write stuff and then I'll send it to Ethan. He changes the drums, or he'll put his, he'll do his thing
flavor on it. Yeah.
And then
and that's cool.
Same thing with Gabe on the bass, and obviously Juan, adds all his vocals on top, but so yeah, it's kind of it's collaborative, but we don't really do it all in one room together.
But afterwards, you guys got to rehearse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put it all together. The reception has been overwhelmingly great. I see you guys getting press from many different avenues, and that's great, man. Do you guys have a publicist at this point?
Nope.
No. that and we can talk more about this off camera, but that would be like that would be the next step for you guys, to get like a real publicist, and so that this can get out to the network of your publicist, who is networked all over Europe and all over this country, and so that you guys get interviews and who knows what else.
Yeah.
And that's the next step. And you never know. You never fucking know. Through the network of your publicist, and when they're promoting this record or singles or whatever, might say, "Oh, I love this shit. Let's bring them to fucking Belgium to tour. Let's get them a tour over here in Belgium. Or do these guys have a deal? Let's get them a record deal so we can distribute them all over Europe." That's how the shit happens. Okay, and if you guys are serious about moving to the next step, then I can connect you with publicists. Okay, for sure.
Thank you, man.
That's the next step, bro. I mean, we love San Antonio, but there comes a point where the bands that are successful have to outgrow. You outgrow San Antonio, and you have to think beyond, and move beyond, and that's how it happens. So let's next talk about Where the Lost Ones Weep. Your brand new single came out in January. I love this single. I love the video. I love everything about it. It's just a fucking progression from The Form of Suffering. So talk a little bit about that single. Do you feel, there was some time from The Form of Suffering and Exordium in 23 to releasing Where the Lost Ones Weep in 25, do you feel, was there anything that you worked on, any progressions that you felt that you made at that point, going 2 years later musically, or did you kind of stick to your guns and say, this is what we are, this is what we do?
Yeah, I definitely think there was some progression.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a crazy departure from our sound,
of course, yeah,
but I feel like it was a good amount of like, there's a little bit different. There's more kind of electronic elements.
Yeah.
Some more of that.
I was gonna say, I can feel more of the sonic landscape in that track,
and a little more vibe going on.
Yeah.
There's no guitar solo, which a lot of this stuff on the EP is solo. So that's one difference. But
did the Russian dude did the artwork too on that one?
That one, no. That one was
because the artwork for Where the Lost One Weep is fucking scary, bro. Like, God damn,
it is, yeah.
Fucking alien demon or something. I don't know.
It's just a monster.
Who did that one?
That one was Pedro Sina, and I believe he's from Portugal.
Oh wow. How do you find these dudes?
I mean, I find them mostly I'll find like some artwork I think's badass from a band that I like, and I'll try to find out who did it, and then I'll hit them up. That's how I found out most of these dudes.
Yeah.
Like the guy who did the art for Form of Suffering, he did the artwork for Thanatos.
Oh really?
And,
yeah.
That's kind of how we found out about him, or at least how I did.
One of the things that I want to applaud you on is that. When you released the single for Exordium, the artwork was like in relation to the EP.
Yeah.
That's very smart. And that's very cool because you're like, this is a cohesive piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the overall.
Yeah, so that's cool. Whoever thought of that idea was cool.
I think it was the guy who made the art that gave me that idea. He was like, just take this detail from the artwork and use it. And I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if this is going to be part of the EP in the future, then you have to correlate it. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful.
But Juan, do you want to talk a little bit about the new single?
Yes, Juan, I want you to talk about Where the Lost Ones Weep. Yes, because, I'm going to ease into this topic a little bit because... and Juan, I'm talking about lyrically because when I heard the title track and I was reading the lyrics, I'm like, man, this is like, there's people who suffer silently, right? Remember, like when Trevor from Black Dahlia died or committed suicide? I was like, who the fuck knew that this dude was suffering?
That's absolutely one of my biggest influences of all time. It hit me deeply. I love Black Dahlia till the day I die, man. That's
rest in peace, Trevor.
Rest in peace, Trevor. We still miss you and love you. And I remember when I interviewed that dude, he was just I always thought he was just like this cool, happy-go-lucky dude, party dude. And then when I heard about his passing, I was like, what the fuck? We just don't know. We just don't know, bro. So Where the Lost Ones Weep, obviously, Juan, I know from our interview in 2022 that you've kind of also personally dealt with some challenges in your life. So talk a little bit about and share a little bit of insight on the title and kind of the mantra for that track.
So with that track, I wanted to kind of put out a song that people can relate to, not necessarily like a concept, make-believe story. Mm-hmm. So with that song, over the past couple of years, I've just been personally dealing with a lot of, isolation, mental health issues, and, self-destructive behaviors. Toxic habits, a lot of negative thoughts going on in my head. In my time of isolation, I would isolate a lot and just self-harm, things like that, and just push people away in my life. And I had realized one time, I was living in this cycle of, I'd get better, and then I'd just fall right back down, and then I'd have to hear about it. I'd have to make my amends, And then, you know, it was repeating, and I felt like I was living in my own hell, so to speak, kind of like a purgatory, just wandering, you know, in my head in these dark thoughts. And so with that song, it's a song for the listener to kind of relate to it and realize that they're not alone, because I know there's a lot of people suffering from stuff like that. And so that song is for everyone. It's for me, it's for anyone else suffering like that, and I hope anyone listening can overcome those harmful self-destructive behaviors and those negative thoughts and be able to make amends with the ones that they've hurt, pushed away. And it's a powerful song, and I'm really happy with the release. I'm really happy with everyone listening to it, sharing it, and really enjoying it. Yeah, it's a brutal song. And the song title is Where the Lost Ones Weep, in isolation, in their head, in their heart, in their soul, in their spirit. You know, they feel like they're alone. They feel like they got no one to talk to. So they self-destruct and they isolate. Mm-hmm. And that's where the lost ones weep.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow, that's deep, bro. That's fucking deep. And I appreciate you sharing that. I know you shared a little bit about that back in 22 with me. And, you know, it's a challenge, man. You know, how many brothers and sisters have we lost in the past few years to, you know, those kinds of things? You know, they succumb, you know, they might die of, you know, cirrhosis of the liver from drinking too much, but that's all just a symptom of self-destruction and not feeling like they have anywhere to go to. That's deep, bro. And there's a lot of people who suffer like that daily and who keep it pretty well hidden. You know, you wouldn't even fucking know.
Oh yeah.
And that's the real tragedy for me. Is like these people like, how you doing? And you're like, I'm fine, I'm good.
Yeah.
When they're really not, right?
Just masking it.
Yeah, they're masking it. And, you know, I've always been one of those people, you know, with my close friends. I'm like, it's all about transparency, bro. Be transparent with your real friends who love you and, you know, tell them what you're really dealing with, you know, or going through. And that way you can get help from them and continue to live because, you know, it's already tough enough because people are fucking dying in car crashes every day. And, you know, shit, you never know when your life's going to fucking end.
That's true.
But, yeah, man, stay strong, you know, for all you people out there who may be suffering at that level, you know, and continue to persevere because life is worth living. Life is worth living. So thank you for sharing that, Juan. Yeah. I appreciate it.
It gets better. Just be here for it.
Yeah. Of course. It always gets better, man. It always gets better. And like I said, you know, like as I was telling you guys downstairs, you know, you just, as young men, you know, you learn and you grow as you get older. I remember when I was your young age, and I made a lot of mistakes too. And, you know, people suffered around me. My son, my ex-wife, you know. But you continue to live and try to make the best of things and move on. And it always comes out better at the other end. I know that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. All right. We'll smoke some pot later and talk more about that.
There we go.
And really talk about it. Woo! Yeah. All right. You guys, one of the things, too, that I've noticed about you is like you guys are staying pretty fucking active. Yeah. Right? You're doing some shows. You got some big shows coming up in the next couple of months, right? The Vortex of Violence and Chaos and Carnage. Those are kind of big shows.
Yeah,
Talk a little bit about that. How'd you guys land those shows? Does your rep precede you, or what's going on there?
No rep. Yeah, we don't have a rep. Yeah, I mean the Vortex of Violence? Just, you know, come and take it.
I love Warbringer, bro.
Yeah.
I love fucking War. You know, thrash metal's my forte. Yeah. I'm from the thrash metal era.
Yeah, we were jamming Megadeth earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony at Come and Take It, you know, love working with him. He's a great guy. And then, you know, Twin Productions here with Chaos and Carnage, you know, giving us the leg up to get in there.
Y'all work with Jen Holt or?
Yeah, when we can.
Yeah, Jen Holt's cool.
Yeah.
I've known that lady for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't get too involved with promoters. You know, I just know some of these people from the White Rabbit days and stuff. But that's cool, man. That you can get these cool gigs. A lot of people are gonna be there.
Super honored.
You're
Super
gonna
honored
be at the
to
big
be.
stage, right? The big stage.
We'll know. We'll find out.
Right.
Soon
Those
enough.
are at the Vibes.
Vibes and Rockbox.
The Vibes is a big stage, bro.
Yeah.
Vibes is a big stage.
Super honored to be like on both of those. I mean, like really any show that we get to, you know, really open
Ethan,
up for.
you're ready. I've also seen too that you guys play outside of San Antonio.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
we try
you
to
guys
as much as possible.
Yeah. And that's cool because, you know, I meet some bands and they just want to play in San Antonio or they have jobs where they can't get out for a weekend or, you know, but I love to see that you guys are playing Corpus, Austin. You guys gone to the Valley yet?
Working on it. Yeah, we have something in the works. Yeah.
Guys, I always recommend,
I'm from the Valley, so I'm always trying to make my way down there.
I always recommend to everybody, you got to cultivate the Valley, bro. Even though it's a 4-hour fucking drive. Cultivate the Valley because botanas,
yeah.
Well, from what I know is that if the fans like you, they'll come see you every time you go back, and then you just build and build upon it. So yeah, man, the Valley, Corpus,
yeah.
You know, fuck Houston and fuck Dallas. That's what I say. That's what I say. But you know, but that's good. So that's important to you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think
building the fan base outside
of San Antonio, right? Like you want to be like something bigger than just where you're from. You want to be like a regional and, you know, to state. And the whole goal of everything is to grow in general, right? Like you don't want to just be the biggest band in San Antonio. You want to, you know, spread out a little bit. You know, and like I think like we sold a couple CDs to like Japan and shit, and that's like that's insane to me, right? Like that's. The ultimate goal is just to have, like, it's insane to me to think that, like, oh, there's like a couple CDs of ours floating around in Japan, man.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
That's cool. That is so cool. You know,
next Russia.
Next Russia.
Yeah. That's so cool. We live in such a cool world these days.
Yeah.
That we, you know, the communication channels are so open and people can access your stuff so quickly. So, what would you guys like to do for the rest of this year, for 2025, after, you know, April and stuff? Just more?
More. All of it, more. Yeah, I mean, we got new releases lined up. We've got new...
Talk a little bit about that, like new music.
New music, yeah. I mean, I'm personally super stoked about it. I mean, we share files back and forth between each other, and I mean...
So there's some new songs in the works?
Absolutely. I would say, like, what, like 4? 3,
oh, wow.
3, 4 that are just kind of like... I mean, I don't want to say... Yeah, like 3 that are like ready to go.
When can the public anticipate those?
In the coming months.
Oh yeah.
In the coming months.
You better send Rob Chavez some little samples.
Yeah.
So you know, I want to help, dude. I'm a fan of your band, so send me the tracks. You know they're gonna stay with me. I'm not gonna do anything with them.
You promise?
Yeah. Of course. Come on, guys. I get everything. I get everything from everybody. Really, not just local bands too. National shit.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Metal Blade sends me all their new stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Century Media, everybody.
I love Metal Blade.
I love so I get everything. You believe it or not, I'll share this on camera so that you know. Like even the pre-releases that I get from Metal Blade, they're like, here's the pre-release. You know, and they send it. It's a publicity. You know, that's their publicist. The pub. Let me share something real quick with you. Real quick, and I might edit this out, but back in the day, remember, Rob's has been around for 29 years. So back in the day, before the internet, the record companies, all the record companies, whether it was Century Media, Metal Blade, fucking Relapse, anybody, they all had their own publicity departments, right? And when they would promote their bands, they would send out packages to me. Mm-hmm. And the package would have the CD, it would have that little MVD of their video, it would have their paper press release, it would have everything.
EPK.
It was an EPK, yeah. Well, you know, when everything became digitized, that went away, and a press photo, you know, and all that went away. And then what started happening too, when it became digitized, they were like, we don't need a publicity department anymore.
Absolutely.
So they fired all the publicity people.
Yeah, I've noticed that, like, in the industry, that like A&R reps kind of don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they have A&R reps, but the publicity people. when they all got fired, what they still needed publicity for their bands, but what they would do, which was cheaper, like all Elon Muskish, Doji, they were like, we're just gonna contract out our publicity.
Yeah.
So
Can we talk about the political economic state of the world right now?
Yeah, it's the same. It's all a business model. All that Trump and fucking Elon are doing is all business model.
Mm-hmm.
So
Evan's
one of the publicists that I'm very tight with, his name is this girl named Liz Chiarella. She's Italian. She's in. I think she's in New Jersey. She runs a company called Earsplit PR, and she handles all of Metal Blade.
Oh, okay.
So everything that comes out of Metal Blade, she handles the PR for. And I'm tight with her. Yeah. So, but Liz is like way up. She's like, she handles big bands, But anyway, back to the point of the story is that, she, publicists can hook me up, with stuff, and I hear it. And when they send you the pre-release, the digital files, they tell you in the these digital files are watermarked. Like if they get out, we can trace it back to you, and then you're going to be in big trouble.
Wow.
Yeah. So when they send it out to the publicists for reviews or whatever, I get these records a month before they come out.
Nice.
But they're watermarked. So don't fucking share it with anybody. So trust me, guys. Your
How does
music
that
is
work?
safe.
Like every 30 seconds, you're listening.
No,
to
it's I don't know. The digital is fucking watermarked. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, the true story. Back in the day, and I'll even show you. Back in the day, before digital, they would send you the CD, and it was watermarked too. And you would play the CD, like a promotional CD. I have a El Nino promotional CD. It would play it. You play the song, and then like every 30 seconds it says, "This is a promotional CD," and then it would go back into the song. Wow. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, yes, Gabe, your music will be safe with me.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about videos now. Was Crowned and Revocation the first video that you guys ever did?
I think it was the second.
I think Cabal was the first video.
Oh,
we
really?
did. Yeah, it was the first video we ever shot, and then Crowned was the second video we shot.
Okay.
And Fallen Flesh was the third video we shot, but the first one to release.
You confused me.
They basically released in reverse order.
Sure.
In
Okay.
reverse order, yeah.
I shared with you guys downstairs, and I think earlier today that the video for Where the Lost Ones Weep is your best video, and that video is fucking intense.
Thank you.
Bro.
Thank you.
Fucking I watched that, and I'm like, God damn! Like,
we put a little bit
I need to wipe
more.
my head. I'm sweating.
We put a little bit more thought into storyboarding and kind of production value and.
No,
like
but
that,
I think
yeah.
Juan's performance in that video was
Yeah.
fucking sick, bro.
I remember coaching him a little
Like
bit.
not a lot of people
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
really
in the moment I was
get so
I was
into
like,
it.
you're breaking through to yourself, man. Like get in there. Yeah, I remember kind of
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then that video too has done very well for the band. I think 11,000 views in 2 months.
Yeah.
I think is what I saw online. That's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. And then you guys initially
Super humbling.
distributed through Slam Worldwide's site.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we've only done
That's
this
it.
on Worldwide.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And you should.
Yeah.
Feed the Slam Worldwide outlet.
Absolutely.
How did you guys get involved with Slam Worldwide? I know they've done some debuts for other bands and stuff, but how do you get involved with them? Or what is it? Are they fans of the band or?
So they're a famous, internationally famous YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And they debut music videos, singles for bands all over the world. And they're I would say, in my opinion, the biggest YouTube channel to release underground music like that.
Yeah.
And so we've seen their name on and off throughout the years, me, Evan, all these guys. And so when it came time to release Exordium, we thought we should release through Slam Worldwide because there are other channels out there that release
Do you have to pay a little bit of money to get on it?
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It's always everything's business.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know that. And but that's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, it definitely has broadened your audience to
Absolutely.
their audience.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily per se, because I mean, like you're using, they have a subscriber base.
It's a means to
they have
an
a
end, my
yeah,
man.
yeah, right. Like I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like you want to
For sure.
have as much reach as
For
possible.
sure.
If they have 20,000,
The
then,
publicists
yeah,
that you
easy.
will work with, that I hook you up with, will also charge you. But again, it's a means to an end, you know, in
Yeah.
everything you do. Like, you know, I'm a professor, so I teach my kids about business, and I tell them, yeah, you got to spend money, you know, but the hope is that the return is going to be more than what you spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and
gotta
again,
spend money to make money.
the thing is too,
Money, yeah.
you know, this is the thing though. This is the hope. This is the thing that you cross your fingers about, is that through these channels, whether it's through the publicists or through Slam Worldwide, is that some guy in some fucking European office is gonna fucking run across your shit and say, these guys are great. We need to work with them.
Absolutely.
And that's how shit happens, bro. Whether
Yeah.
it's through a distribution deal,
All it takes is one.
all it takes is one. Whether through it's a tour, whether it's through a fucking record deal, whatever they can do to help you guys, you know, to get your name out and beyond San Antonio and Texas, man. And I think you guys, honestly, in this genre, nobody's doing it better, and you guys have a better chance than anybody to fucking make that happen for yourselves. I
Thank you, Rob.
really feel that, bro. Any more videos forthcoming for the Form of Suffering, or are we gonna have to wait until new music comes out?
So the Form of Suffering cycle was completed when we released Where the Lost Ones Weep.
Okay.
And so,
So we're done with that. Let's move on.
yeah,
And
for the
that's
most
fine.
part.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
The ball roll.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the next single we're planning to release, which I'll send you,
Yeah.
is just pummeling. It's a whole different level.
Can you tell me
And
the title?
The Artifice.
Artifice.
The Artifice.
Is that one word?
Artifice. The artifice. Yeah.
The Artifice.
The artifice.
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 Correct.
I'm a pretty good speller.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. The Artifice, people.
The
You heard
Artifice,
you heard it first here on Rob's, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
First here. First ever to hear it.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
And when can we anticipate that?
Well, actually, I mean, you song title first here, and you'll hear it first. You'll be probably the first person outside of the
Okay.
band to hear it.
When
Yeah.
are the people going to hear this? What I'm asking.
Couple months, 2
Okay,
months,
okay.
3 months.
What do you think, Evan?
Yeah.
2-3 months. Yeah.
About 2 or 3
Gabe's
months.
bass on it.
yeah.
God damn,
I need to change my
fucking
strings.
bass isn't
Yeah.
fucking sounding right, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's great, man.
About
All
2 to
right.
3 months.
The Artifice is coming. Is the plan to kind of release Artifice and subsequent singles and then another EP at the end of the year? Is that kind of like you did with the Form of Suffering?
Yeah, I mean,
Kinda?
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like, kind of seems like that's
That's
a
a
good.
way.
That's a
good.
That's a good plan. I like it. It works.
Songs and then
It worked really well
it
with
works.
the first one. So
I
we're going to
think-
continue doing
Then
that.
don't fuck with it.
I really like that. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's just it works. It works.
It works.
There's
Don't
nothing
fuck
wrong-
with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with.
If it ain't broke, don't break
Don't break
fix
it.
Don't fix it. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It also comes in line with like I guess the writing process in terms of like a song will appear, we kind of polish it. Another song will appear, we kind of polish it. It's like
Yeah,
you know like release as we go.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like we still have a backlog, but also like hey, look, this one's ready. This one's ready, and then these two we can kind of just compile
Don't
together.
become obsessed with the endless pursuit of perfection, okay?
No, absolutely. I mean, I agree.
That can be
I
a
agree.
killer.
Yeah.
Okay? Let it go sometimes. Just
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think for the most
Yeah.
part we do pretty well about like okay, like not dwelling too much on the
Right.
like, it's good. It's good. Let's
It's
go.
good
Yeah,
enough.
it's good. Let's go. All gas, no
Fans
brakes.
aren't gonna fucking hear that little snippet at
Exactly. Yeah.
0.3
Yeah.
second fucking part of the song. They're not gonna listen to it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I think we've covered so much ground this evening. And as we end out, I want to give each of you guys. Let's start with Ethan, and I want to give each of you an opportunity to say thank yous or send out love or anything like that to people who or your bandmates or anything who have helped you on your journey to where you are today as we sit here in the spring of 2025. So go ahead, Ethan.
Hell yeah. First off, obviously, thank you, Rob. This is a very sick opportunity. We're thankful for everybody locally and in all the shows we played that have been so overwhelmingly supportive. And then all the online support as well has been nuts. And then mainly for me also, Evan and you guys, like, you know, this opportunity has been so much fucking fun. So I don't want it to end. But it has to end now, so. No, I'm just kidding.
Rob, thank you for having us. Thank
You're
you for
welcome,
having
man.
me again, the hospitality as well. The kind words and encouragement, you know, that really brightened us up a lot and really motivated us. I'm sure once we leave here, we'll be motivated even more to continue.
That's what it's all about, brother. And
Absolutely.
And Juan, I'm going to say this on camera. What I told you last night downstairs, bro, you're welcome to come over here. Just call me. You're like, Rob, you're free fucking Thursday. Let's hang out. Come hang out with me, bro. We can jam music, you know, have a few beers and talk about life. And, you know, I'm down for that, bro, because, you know, even at my age, you know, I need friends, you know, to talk to and you know, you need confidants in your life, people that you can trust, people that you can build transparency with. And those things fucking mean a lot. And I'm not even afraid, you know. I tell my cousin, I tell my friends, I said, I love you, man. I love you. I care about you, you know. And building that kind of brotherhood, that carnalismo, is very, very important for us, especially as we become older men, you know, because sometimes I think men have challenges with doing that because they weren't raised like that, you know. And not to say that I had a great dad, and because I didn't, but I've learned those things as I've become an older man. You know, and I'm not afraid to say that to you guys because, you know, you only go around once, bro. And it sucks to say, like, oh, man, I should have helped this dude, or I should have been there for that dude when I really cared about him, but I never had time for him. And, you know, at my age, I'm like, I don't want to do that, you know, anymore. My son, he's 27 years old. He fucking hardly ever calls me. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? You know, but he's 27 years old. You know, when I was his age either, I wasn't, you know, busting up my dad's phone either. You know, I'm doing my own thing, whatever the fuck he's doing. But, you know, I think, you know, as you get into your 30s and eventually into your 40s, you start to realize that, you know, you really need that kind of support. And I'm going to say this too. You know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be going off on a tangent, but you know, we all have our chicks, our girlfriends, or whatever. But you also need a man's support, a man friend.
Yeah.
Because you know there are certain things that you can't talk to your chick about.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
That you need to talk to another man about.
Right.
And that's very important, bro. So like that door is always open to you, man. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
You're
you,
welcome,
Rob.
brother.
I
You're
appreciate that. Thank you to everyone listening, supporting the band, buying merch, buying tickets to shows. Thank you for supporting our EP and our single. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. I mean, shit, just thank you. Thank you for everything. Yeah. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Nice to meet you, Gabe. You're
it's
cool
been
dude. I get good vibes from you, bro.
Thank you.
I love your smile. And you have good vibes. So you're good to go.
Yeah, no, thank
Let's
you.
see how you look after we smoke this reefer.
There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you, everyone that's like supported us so far. Thank you to the future fans that haven't listened to us yet. You know, it's been a crazy experience. I didn't expect any of the response that we've gotten, you know what I mean? And I hope it continues to grow. And, you know, this is something that I want to be doing when I'm 60, you know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate everything, everything, man. I love doing what we do, and I hope we can keep it going.
Passion is a very important thing. And take care of your hands. You know, don't fuck up your hands.
Yeah,
very important. Hey, thanks, Rob. I appreciate you having us out here, and thank you for all your, kind words of encouragement. And yeah, it means a lot that you're, you appreciate our music so much.
Dude, I'm a fan. Any band I have on Rob's, I'm a fan. I jam your shit, bro.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a fan. That's why I called my show Rob's MetalWorks, because if I'm sharing your shit, it's because I'm a fan and I listen to your music. And Evan, as the heart musically of Blight, I'm a fan of yours, bro.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
man. You're welcome.
Yeah. And thank you, my parents, they kind of set me on the musical journey. My family, my girlfriend, Nicole, she's been a huge support. She's like made merch for us and run merch and shit. Yeah.
Cool.
So thank you, Nicole.
She didn't make this badass shirt, though. This is technical. This is like technical death metal shirt right here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'll take it. Thank you guys for the merch. Anything else, Evan? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, thank you everyone who's listened to us, who's given us a chance, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you to everyone who's bought merch and bought tickets and everything. So it means the world to us.
Guys, I wish you guys nothing but the best of this as this year progresses. And again, as I was watching you downstairs, when Juan and Gabe walked in, I saw you guys huddle and kind of hug each other. And that's great, man. I love to see that, because that means to me that there is a brotherhood. The word that I like to use in Spanish is called carnalismo, that, there is that male bonding that good bands should have. And that's important, And don't ever lose that, As long as you have that cohesiveness, you'll continue to write good music and play good shows, bro. And as you continue to do that, then bigger and better things will happen for you. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you sharing, all of your feelings and your thoughts about your music. And I hope that as you guys continue to release new music, that we'll be able to do this again. So thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks, Juan. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you guys coming over tonight. Remember, everyone out there, the EP, The Form of Suffering, came out. The brand new single, Where the Lost Ones Weep, is out already. Go out there right now, after you finish watching this. Go to your favorite music media outlet and download this stuff and fucking brutalize your fucking brain, because that's what these fucking guys do. You saw Blightfeeder only right here on Rob's